This is Umar Ahmed for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. With me is promoter Bob Arum. Well, Bob, we got the news that we finally wanted. Undisputed clash, May 22nd, Jose Ramirez v. Josh Taylor. Tell me about it.
Well, I'm really thrilled because obviously this is such a competitive fight, great betting fight. People have their views, whether in Scotland or in the Central Valley of California, about who's going to win the fight. Two really splendid athletes in Ramirez and Taylor, two great representations of what boxing is all about. So I really am thrilled for May 22nd. It's going to be a hell of a show.
What's the situation with fans in attendance for that fight, Bob?
In most places in the United States, as you've probably been following, fans are allowed up to a certain percentage. I talked recently with the governor of Nevada, and he assures me that in May that will be the case, that fans, or people wanting to see shows or fans ready to see events, 50% will be the standard. So obviously we have to get a big enough place so the 50% translates into real numbers. Now, one of the imponderables that we know is the UK, because in an ordinary situation, we could count on 5,000 to 6,000 Scots coming over from the UK for the fight. But right now, there's a restriction, as I understand it, on tourist travel. Hopefully, that will be, as everything improves, lifted, or at least ameliorated. So it's said that if people have been vaccinated, they then can travel abroad, and then when they come back, just take a COVID test, and they don't have to go through quarantine. So I think we can accomplish that, and I am optimistic that we'll be able to get 5,000 to 6,000 Brits and Scots coming over for the fight. In which case, if that develops, that rather than to go into a venue where we're limited to 7,000 or 8,000 based on the 50% rule, we put it in Allegiant Stadium, our great new football arena in Las Vegas, and we'd set it up for 30,000 to 40,000. So again, we have time. And we're going to also try to not start the fight too late in the United States, so we get it closer to a good time in the UK to enhance pay-per-view buys in the UK. So all of that is in order. All we can say is the fight's signed. It'll happen on May 22nd, and we're thrilled about it.
Okay, Bob, you mentioned there that it will be on pay-per-view in the UK. Are we close
maybe,
to...
Maybe. Okay. I mean, if somebody steps up and says, don't do it on pay-per-view, we'll buy the rights. Well, we're certainly open to that, because in the United States, it will definitely not be on pay-per-view. It will be on free television as part of this ESPN rollout of these great fights that haven't been on pay-per-view, that instead have been offered to the fans without charge, like Lomachenko and Lopez, like Crawford and Kell Brooks, and now this fight.
How close do you think we are to learning a UK broadcaster for that fight?
Of what?
About learning about the UK broadcaster for that fight. How close are we, do you think?
Well, I think we just announced, and within the next week or 2 weeks, we'll finalize something.
Just back to the fans' point, if the UK fans are allowed to travel, it will certainly reboost the Las Vegas economy.
Yeah, I mean, the you people at your, side of the water. Love to come to Las Vegas. Uh, you know, the funny story that they told me, this was a time when I think it was Ricky Hatton was fighting in Las Vegas, that the liquor sales are not, very surprising, very high, but they can't keep enough beer in stock. The trucks were coming back and forth to the casino from where the beer is stored. So again, the Brits, when they come to Las Vegas, the Scots have a great time, and the hospitality here has been second to none.
Just a final one on this. I was with Josh Taylor today when the fight got announced, and on the poster it said Ramirez v Taylor. Now, of course, they're both bringing world titles to the party, but obviously Josh's Ring magazine, he asks, why isn't it Taylor v Ramirez? And it's
okay. Well, the broadcaster in the UK can call it Taylor v Ramirez, and I'm sure we'll have some posters made up that say Taylor against Ramirez, even in the United States. And there's no championship privilege here, because who walks second and who gets announced and so forth, that'll be determined by a flip of the coin.
Okay, well, it's a brilliant fight, May 22nd. We can't wait for it. Let's talk about another fight that was re-announced in Carl Frampton and Jamel Herring, April 3rd in Dubai. Yeah, your thoughts on that fight, Bob?
Well, part of the deal to do that fight, apparently, was that I promised to be in attendance. And because I am now a double vaccinator, I've had my 2 shots, my wife, we are going to be on a plane on the Monday before, heading for Dubai. And I'll be at that fight because I really want to see it. I think it's going to be a terrific fight. And the young man who's the promoter of the fight, he's a Saudi guy who's lived in Dubai, Siddiqui, is a really good guy. I get a kick out of him. So I'm looking forward to spending a few days in Dubai, and I will certainly be at that fight. Who will broadcast it back in the UK? I mean, that's Frank is working that out now.
Yeah.
Frank
But
Warren.
obviously, we know in the US, the ESPN subscribers.
Oh, yeah, ESPN will be doing it on a Saturday afternoon. But remember, years ago, we did most of our fights on Saturday afternoon, and that made it so conducive to viewers in the UK who could watch our fights in prime time.
Well, just back to Taylor Ramirez, you mentioned the time zone that you'd accommodate it for the UK fans. Can you tell us now what time roughly that would be on in Vegas?
Well, we're working that out. Omar, to be really frank, we're working that out. And it may be if we put the main event on at 8 o'clock, or say 7 o'clock Eastern time, 4 o'clock Western time, that then would be, I think,
midnight here.
Midnight or 1 o'clock, something like that. So that would be great. That would be great. I mean, you can't do it in real prime time UK, but near prime time, and that would certainly increase the audience. That's what we're going to be shooting for.
Okay. Now, Bob, I know you don't want to discuss Fury Joshua in the media, but can you just tell me everything's positive right now?
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I've been working on it, and all the points have been agreed to. That's what each side has said. Now, we're scrambling around to get the things signed and everything. But I can say clearly, based on my view of everything, that there are no more issues.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear. Let's go back to your last show, Bob. Oscar Valdez with a sublime knockout over Bichelle.
That was wonderful. Oscar has really come along. He's become such a talented guy, and everybody loves him because he has such a wonderful personality. I mean, he speaks so well in both languages because even though he was a Mexican born in Nogales, he was educated in Tucson in the United States. So he speaks perfectly in both languages, and he's a real gem. He's a real gem. And while, Burchelt, we promoted Burchelt some, and he's a great warrior. I couldn't help but take a lot of pride when Oscar performed the way he did, because Top Rank has done every single fight of Oscar from the time he turned pro. So good props to him. Great victory for him.
Can we expect the fight with Shakur Stevenson next?
Well, I don't know about next and so forth. We have a lot of things in the mix. We have the Frampton Herring winner has to fight Shakur. He might go that direction. We're going to give Shakur a fight in June, keep him active. And very frankly, if Frampton wins over Herring, then we're planning in the early fall to do Frampton and Shakur from this big stadium in Northern Ireland.
Wow. Okay.
And that's the plan.
Okay, that sounds terrific. Bob, just outside of Top Rank business, a mega fight was announced between Canelo Alvarez and Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders, very popular here in the UK. What do you think about that fight and Billy Joe's chances?
Well, Canelo looks almost like he's unbeatable. But when a fighter looks like he's unbeatable, that's the time that he gets beat. Billy Joe Saunders, courageous kid, very talented technical fighter. I put him in with a chance, but not a big chance. I mean, that's not to say anything derogatory about Billy, because he's a terrific fighter. But Canelo looks so overpowering, particularly at 168, that it's hard to see anybody beating him. I mean, I'll tell you that frankly. I mean, Saunders, of anybody in 168, probably Saunders has the best chance, but, I would still favor Canelo pretty big.
Okay, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that fight. Also, have you been keeping up with the back and forth between Lomachenko and Devin Haney recently?
No, what's happening?
Oh, they've just had a few exchanges on social media. Does that fight interest you?
That fight can get done. I think Haney has another fight with Eddie Hearn. And after that fight, if Haney wants to fight Lomachenko, happy to do that fight. That'd be a good fight.
Has there been any movements on Lomachenko's potential return?
Lomachenko's what?
Potential return. Has there been any updates?
Yeah, it's going to be in the summer, July or August. We were inundated with fighters and dates, and so now we've got April sorted out. We have, I think, May sorted out. I think Mick Conlon is going to fight in May. Frank told me, and that'll be on ESPN. I think there's another fight in there. Maybe Pacquiao will fight in May. I mean, we'll see. And then in June, we have about 3 weekends booked up. In July, the same. So, we're looking to slot each guy in. We have a lot of dates and a lot of venues now opening up. So it's like coming out of a bad dream, with the bubbles and all that sort of stuff. We're beginning to see light at the end of a tunnel.
We definitely are. So on that note, Bob Arum, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. Safe trip to Dubai. I'm sure we'll catch up before anyways. And yeah,
You going there?
one of our guys will be going there to that show.
Okay. Make sure they're vaccinated, right?
We will. Okay, Bob, thank you for your time and we'll speak soon.
Good talking to you.